We are Maria
and Nicole. We're two secular homeschooling moms that have
been there, done that.
Board games have long been a beloved pastime for families around the world. The allure of board games lies not only in the thrill of competition, but also in the shared moments of laughter and bonding that naturally happens when families play together.
Yeah, we talk all the time about how much both our families have loved board games over the years, from the suspenseful roll of the dice to the cunning maneuvers and all the family-friendly banter. Board games create an environment where families can connect and create cherished memories. We're going to be kicking off the year playing games with our families, and today we're going to share 25 of our all-time favorite family games. From your youngest to your oldest, we're sharing games that everyone in your family will love. This is our final episode of 2023. Can you believe that, Nicole?
I cannot believe it.
We'll be going to a twice-a-month format in 2024, but be sure to stay tuned because we have a lot of great episodes lined up for you.
And also, our free resource this week called Year in Review will kickstart your homeschool year and help you and your kids reflect on 2023 and look forward to setting some goals in 2024.
And as usual, we want to stress that our podcast is an inclusive space for your everyday parents that are looking for education options. We are not here to convince you to homeschool. We want to stress that you need to do what works for your child and for your family.
Every family's different.
Absolutely. And you know your children best. So feel free to take what advice or information you get from here that works for you and chuck the rest.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Maria. It's early again.
It is, and I have been up early working on my house, getting all my Christmas stuff finalized.
Me too. I was up late last night doing my finishing touches on my garage photo booth because I'm having a big party tonight.
Oh, that's awesome. Is that your dance crew?
Yes, and it's 65 people.
Oh.
Which I did this summer, but it was a pool party, so I'm a little anxious to see how that's going to work out. I've got a cookie station, like decorate an ugly sweater thing going on downstairs. I've got puzzles upstairs. I've got just different things going on in all areas.
That's fun. I love this time of year. You know, I talk about that all the time because I do. I love the holiday movies. Last weekend, I watched, I think, 5 holiday movies.
Oh my gosh.
In a row. Like slug.
I've started watching them at night before I love to fall asleep to my Hallmark movies. And then one of our friends posted the other day, I had made bingo cards years ago, and she had asked me for them. And so I saw in her photo that she had posted the bingo cards. And I'm like, I love that you still use this. And like Hallmark movie bingo. But I made this before Hallmark actually made some and marketed them. I should have patented them at the time. I could have been rich, you guys. But I then unpacked mine later that day, and I forgot that last year I laminated mine and made them all pretty colors and everything. So I had taken it a step further.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
It is.
Well, and also after Christmas, we have are you doing your soup party this year?
I am. I'm doing my New Year's Eve.
We do board games and soup party.
It's a soup potluck. Yeah, it's awesome. Do a soup potluck with your friends, you guys, if you don't, if you haven't yet, because I totally copied this off of another friend years ago, but it's so much fun. Everybody brings their favorite soup, and we've got a lot of repeat soups that show up once a year. Love it. And then we all just bring games or come play. I own a million games, and I just have game stations kind of all over the house, and we all do our own thing.
Yeah. Really and this episode today is appropriate. We're actually not going to record again until next year. So we're going to have all the time to play these board games.
Yeah. So next time you hear us, you'll find out if we're all still friends. It can get...
Yeah, you and I are a little competitive.
A little bit. But, whether it's the joy of victory or camaraderie of shared defeat, not us. Board games serve as a catalyst for a fun-filled family moment, fostering communication, problem-solving skills, and just endless amusement for everyone involved.
Absolutely. And choosing the top 25 favorite board games for this episode was so hard.
So hard.
We both really love board games and have both been part of a board game club for years. We met every week at a coffee shop or somebody's house when we played every board game imaginable. Those were some fun years.
They were.
I miss them. And choices can be totally subjective, as preferences can vary based on your kids' interests, what ages they are, and what your learning goals are, because there's a lot of learning opportunities with these games.
Right? I mean, sometimes you want games that sneak in a little education for everyone. But we did another episode about favorite math games, for instance. And for years, I carried story cubes and bananagrams around in my purse because those were easy language arts kind of games to bust out when we were at restaurants or like waiting at an appointment.
Yeah. And call me a board game Grinch if you must, but I believe life's too short for tedious games that make you want to gouge your eyes out. If you enjoy these I know, Candyland. If you really like these games, I mean, more power to you. You have more patience than I do, and I respect that. However, playing a game with your child while gritting your teeth doesn't benefit anybody. When you genuinely are having fun, your kids are going to notice and they're going to enjoy the game more. And if you're bored, well, they're going to pick up on that as well.
Exactly. We all want to have fun, not just our kids. We all want to have fun too, the grown-ups. So we put together this list of board games and card games that are favorites for us and super popular with homeschooling families for their educational value, and they're good for varied ages and entertainment in general. So let's start with some classics first, because there are several games that have stood the test of time and are widely regarded as classics due to their enduring popularity, entertainment value, and the ability to just bring you together for a good time.
Absolutely. And don't feel like you have to write everything down. We've written everything down, our detailed reviews of each of these games in our show notes, so you can reference that after you listen.
Yes. So let's get started. Number 1 is Monopoly, my personal favorite game of all time.
I love this one.
It is a property trading game that involves strategy, negotiation, and financial management. And this is actually a game that I'm not allowed to play at my house. I'm a little too competitive with this one. My family will not play Monopoly with me. But, I subscribe to the motto that if you are not prepared to lose all your friends and family in a game of Monopoly, then you aren't playing hard enough.
I think that's probably true.
It's fair, right?
I have a story. So my brother and I were college roommates for a few semesters, and he's only 13 months older than me. And we are very different. We actually, as we've gotten older, we've gotten more alike than he probably would like to admit. But we are very different. He was very straight A, straight, clean cut. Yeah. I was not. I was more of the grungy type. But anyway, so we played this game in our apartment in college almost every single night.
Oh my God, that's
my
dream. And
we got so silly and delirious. We actually called it backwards. We called it Iloponam. It's so stupid. If he listens to this episode, he's going to laugh his butt off. But anyway, we're going to move on to number 2. Number 2 is Clue. It's a deduction game where players solve a murder mystery and they gather clues and make educated guesses. I love this simple detective game.
Me too.
The randomness of the clues does change the gameplay up enough to make it, replayable, and it's fun for all ages. It's light on strategy while it's still a challenge. Maybe some people think that murder should not be in a kid's game, but I can tell you that children learn about these things even if you don't teach them. Yeah. So Clue is actually a great structured way to teach that crime and murder are wrong and that there's a detective process for catching the culprit.
Yeah.
A bonus is that after playing the game, you can watch the movie. It's cheesy and weird, and of course Tim Curry's in it, so that's a given. But that also means that it's a fantastic movie, too.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Love Tim Curry.
And the stage version is incredible, too. We saw some friends in it last year. Yeah, I've watched the movie Clue like a million times as a kid. Number 3, chess and checkers. And we kind of combined them together because most people own a combo set of chess and checkers since it uses the same board. Chess, of course, is a strategic board game that involves planning, foresight, and tactics using different pieces with distinct movements. Checkers is a strategy game where players aim to capture their opponent's pieces by diagonal movement on the board. And just talking about chess just reminded me of the show Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Oh,
my gosh. Did you see
COVID,
they made a new
I saw the trailer.
Season, I guess? Because I thought it was like a one and done.
It was a one and done. I guess it was so they just decided to bring it back. But that was kind of my COVID go-to. Yeah. I watched that show. I just binged it. I loved it so much.
We ate it up. And so like even if you think you're not interested in chess, and not everybody is, watch that show.
She's fantastic. So Who's that actress? Gosh. She's so good.
I don't even remember.
But my gosh.
Great
Loved
show.
it. Okay, number 4 on the list is Uno. There's a reason that Uno has been the go-to card game for families around the world for 50 years. Can you believe that's how long Uno's been around?
Yeah.
It's a really fast-paced card game. Players match colors or numbers while strategically using action cards to disrupt the opponent. It's a favorite whether you're playing with your grandma or your preschooler and anyone in between.
Yeah, I feel like Uno's one of those that anybody can figure it out. Anybody can play it. You can explain it in 5 seconds
Yeah,
to
it's
everyone.
so fun.
We got into a crazy Uno game while my kids were home at Thanksgiving, and it was a game that for whatever reason just would not end. By the end of it, we were like hoping somebody would get Uno. You know, all the strategy was out the window. We were like, could somebody just lose this game so we could stop?
I'm out.
It was so funny. Number 5 is, and I kind of grouped these together too because they're kind of similar, is Sorry or Parcheesi. Both of these are games of luck or strategy where players race to move their pieces around a board and send other opponents' pieces back to the start. Both of these are just, real classic. Again, easy games that you can explain to kind of all ages, and they're fun. They're easy.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun. Okay, the next one on the list, number 6, is Risk. And we have a collector's version that we found dirt cheap at a garage sale. It's actually a wood board. It kind of creates its own table. I think I found it for 50 cents.
Oh my gosh.
My kids were obsessed with this game
Your
for
kids got my
years.
kids into this one
Oh,
too.
it's so fun. It's a game of global domination and it involves strategy and negotiation and conquest. Our version is a vintage version and some of the countries no longer exist. And it really makes for great topics of conversation. My kids learn geography and history at the same time.
Oh my gosh, mine's an old version too. I should probably look and see if the countries are even applicable now. Yeah, I would love Risk. Number 7 is Apples to Apples. And this is a fun, family-friendly party game involving word comparisons and creative thinking. This one is, again, like a favorite and an easy one to teach everybody in the room in like 5 seconds. For younger kids, you do need to know how to read for this one, but it's a really fun game. And then for adults, it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity.
Well, you say adults, but our teens are playing that
Our
one
teens
too.
do play Cards Against Humanity, so
Maybe we should say that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's not rated G,
No.
but Apples to Apples
definitely
is.
not.
So
Yes, it
do
is.
that one. It's fun.
Okay, number 8 on the list is Yahtzee, and that's a dice rolling game. It involves scoring points by rolling specific combinations. We love this classic game, and it's perfect for all ages. Young ones learn simple math, and older ones can get really competitive, especially when you're in your 50s.
Yeah, well, one of my best friends, they play Yahtzee like every single night.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's just always on their kitchen table, I remember. And number 9 is Scrabble and Boggle. Both of these are word games. Scrabble is a word game that challenges players to create words using letter tiles and strategic placement on a board. Boggle is a word search game using a grid of lettered dice where players find words within a limited time. I think Boggle's one of your favorites too.
Well, I play Scrabble a lot. I love Scrabble, but there's a Boggle Jr. that helped teach my oldest how to read. I don't know if you've
awesome.
seen that one, but it is so fun, and we need to add that one to the show.
I know.
notes,
I feel
too,
like we
because
had
that was fun.
talked about it in another episode when I was putting that in there. I was like, oh, Maria loves Boggle.
It's a good one for teaching word and letter recognition. Number 10 is Connect 4 and Jenga. And these we probably are all familiar with. They're popular at a lot of restaurants, tabletop games. You find these. Connect 4 is a 2-player game. Opponents aim to create a 4 in a row with colored discs in a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal line. And then Jenga is a tower building game where players take turns removing wooden blocks and putting them on top without causing the tower to collapse. And the huge versions are dangerous when they collapse. I tend to frequent a lot of sports bars. I love my sports. And they always seem to have these 2 games in these huge versions because they're simple and you can chat and converse while they are happening. But there's still strategy involved. So your kids actually are learning a lot of things when they're playing them.
Exactly. So we also asked our kids for some of their favorite games while we were making this episode. And some of the ones that my kids listed are actually kid favorites that I dislike. Some of the games I dislike. Operation, that dexterity game where they use tweezers to extract pieces from a patient's body without making the buzzer go.
Yeah, that's stressful.
It is stressful, and that buzz is annoying. I also do not like the game Mousetrap, which my kids would always
Well, because we're the ones setting it up. It always
Yes.
collapses, and we're having to repair whatever didn't work on the game.
Or somebody gets frustrated and cries. I don't. And Life. I don't like the game Life.
Oh, Cameron's best friend loves that game. When I asked him, he spent the night the other night, and in the morning I asked them, and he's like, Life. Oh, it's the best game ever.
My kids loved that game too. I hated it. There was always like, the toddler was always like just driving the cart around the game and knocking everybody's stuff over. It would just go on and on forever. So those were games that I would actually keep for when I had a babysitter. The babysitter would play Operation Mousetrap and Life with them.
That's smart. And you also can't go wrong with just a simple deck of cards. I always keep a deck of cards in my car, and it's simple entertainment no matter where you are. And games like hearts and spades and poker, that's Cameron's favorite, spoons, go fish. There's really a million things that you can do with a deck of cards.
Oh, yeah, so many. Cards has always been my family's thing when I was a kid. My grandparents loved playing cards. Even my grandpa, when he was blind, was somehow like the best rummy player ever. And we always had a good time with that. And, you know, then you can also introduce your kids. You can only really do this once. That's funny, but 52 pickup.
Oh, 52 card pickup where you scatter them?
You just throw them. Oh my gosh. You want to play a game, guys? Yeah. They're like, no. And then they get to teach the sibling.
So just a reminder that this is a weekly episode. We drop one every Thursday morning just for you. And if you have any additional ideas or comments, please come and comment on our Facebook page, on the episode thread, or send us an email at info@btdthomeschool.com. We'd really love to hear from you.
Moving on to number 11, it's Catan. It's formerly known as the Settlers of Catan, and it's a cross between kind of Monopoly and Risk, and the directions were long, and my initial thoughts about this game before I played it was, oh my gosh, this game is too hard. But once I played, it's really easy to play, and I love that you can employ different strategies every single time you play it. It teaches your kids resource management and strategy, and I also love the expansion packs. I don't know if you've played any of those, but they're a lot of fun.
We have a bunch of them. Actually, Jack just took them all at Thanksgiving. He took them all back to his apartment. So he loves that game. And, you know, that just reminded me when you were saying the directions were long was I don't know where this was most of my life, but I recently discovered that you can go on YouTube and watch people explaining game
Oh, yeah. I use
directions.
it all the time.
I've always sat here and read the things, and that's hard. You know, some games you kind of have to play to get a feel to get how it's going. But yeah, the YouTube videos make it so easy. So look that up if you need to know how to play a new game.
Absolutely. And I'm super visual. And when I read the directions, I mean, I comprehend fine, but I have to be able to see what's happening. My brain just doesn't process information like that.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
Number 12, Ticket to Ride. This is one of my favorite games, and it helps with geography and strategy. It's a big train game. You're laying down track and connecting countries and cities. And I have the U.S. version. I have the European version. There's several different versions of Ticket to Ride. They're all great. Also, I highly recommend there's a junior version, Ticket to Ride Junior? I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but we'll link it in the show notes. But that one is so great because it is a 30-minute game, start to finish.
In and out.
Yep. So it was great for your younger ones and gets them kind of used to sitting longer for a board game.
Yeah. Okay, number 13 is Pandemic, and this might hit a little close to home for some people, but it really is a fun game, and we love cooperative games, and Pandemic is one of the most popular modern cooperative games. We've yet to play a Pandemic game that we haven't enjoyed. It teaches cooperation and problem-solving skills, and everyone works together during the global health crisis.
I wondered, because we played that game before the actual pandemic, so I wondered how it held up.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah. Well, we haven't. We still play it.
Good. Number 14 is Carcassonne. I hope that's how you actually pronounce it, but this is a great game. It focuses on spatial reasoning and tile placement. It's one that kind of will play for hours and hours. We enjoy this one.
I've not played that one. I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, maybe at my New Year's party.
All right. Yes,
I'll get it
exactly.
out.
Okay, number 15, Code Names. And I have not played this one with my kids, but we have had a couple of ladies' game nights, and this game was so fun. We laughed our butts off. I really want to play it again, and I love that you can play with a lot of people, but I can see it really easily enhancing your kids' vocabulary and critical thinking skills through the word association. This is definitely on my list to play over the holiday break with my kids. I bought it and we've not played it together yet. I just played it with some of my adult friends. So
it's a popular one at my house. And there's several versions of it too. Like we've got a Harry Potter one. Forget what else we have, but there's several code
I think
names.
there's a couples one I think I saw when I was looking it up.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Number 16 is Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert. This is a great game that promotes teamwork and critical decision making. I haven't played this one in a while. I saw it on my shelf.
It's super fun. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I couldn't really remember what that one was, but I know that it was a favorite. My kids were like, put that one on the list.
We need to bust that one out for the holiday.
I will.
Okay, moving on to number 17 is Seven Wonders. And I like that Seven Wonders is easy to learn how to play, but it takes some practice to really get good at it. In the game, you're building your city around the wonder that you're given to construct, so you even get some history lessons in while learning the strategy.
Nice.
Yeah. And after you finish listening to this episode, be sure to visit our website. We're going to write up all of the show notes and have links to everything that we're talking about, so it's just really easy for you to access and reference. Every week, I like to create free resources that complement that episode, so be sure to sign up to our newsletter so you don't miss any of that exclusive content. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, we would love it if you went out there and gave us a thumbs up or even comment on the episode thread. Okay, moving on to number 18. It is Sushi Go. This one is so fun. My entire family loves sushi, so it was so funny when we finally found this game. Each player is attempting to make the best overall sushi dishes to serve their patrons in order to become the best sushi restaurant in town. Your kids will learn probability and strategy in this fun card game, and it's so easy to play. Anybody can play this game.
I don't think I've ever played Sushi Go.
It's so fun.
Maybe bring it to New Year's.
Yeah, we need to do that one.
That's so fun. Number 19 is Timeline, and this is a card game that is one of my favorites, and I have several versions of it, from TV and music to inventions to American history. I don't even know how many different versions they have, but we first started playing this one as adults at that game store. Yeah. It's fun. Like, I think we started with the inventions game, and it's really cool. It's an easy game to play. You get a set of like 5 cards, and you're just placing them in a row in timeline order. It's great, but I actually use these as educational tools all the time. For our American history, I purposely pulled out all the cards that were up to the Revolutionary War when we were doing that section, and then the next year I added in the ones all the way up to the Civil War, and we play that all the time.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, this one was fun. That's where I learned about this game too. And I realized how I don't know some history timelines. Yeah. So I learned a lot playing this game.
It helps us with trivia.
It sure does. Okay, number 20 is Exploding Kittens. It's a really light, humorous game, and it's known for its quirky artwork. There's strategy and luck involved in this game, and it's really fast-paced. It's a strategic game. You can have up to 5 players, and the objective is to be the last player remaining who hasn't drawn an exploding kitten. It sounds a lot worse than it is, I promise. My kids love this game. They play it all the time. My daughter plays it all the time in her apartment with her roommates, and it's one of their favorites, too.
I love it. Number 21 is Zingo. And this is the greatest game for little ones in your family. It is bingo-esque, but so much more fun. Our kids loved this when they were preschool age, but older kids are happy to play too. I also love this game because 2 people can have fun playing it, but more are welcome. Yeah, Jillian and I used to play this every night before she went to bed. She loved Zingo, and I still have it on my shelf, even though nobody has played it in a long time, but Jane would bring it to babysitting, and it's just such a fun little game, and perfect for preschool and up.
That's a fun one. Number 22 is Cover Your Assets. And we've played this game as a family so many times, it never gets old or less stressful. You try to get pairs of assets. You got stocks and jewelry and houses and things like that, and then steal other people's assets while protecting your own. And this is one of the games that we featured in our math games post. We'll link that also in the show notes so you can check out all the math games to learn different concepts. And this one obviously is about financial literacy. And it's super easy to learn, and it's a really short playtime, so your whole family is going to love this. Even young kids, all the way up to your teenagers, are going to love this game and learn so much about math and finances.
So fun. Number 23 is Racco, and our whole family loves this game. There's a little strategy, but not so much that it ruins the fun for younger players. It also teaches great sequencing skills. It's really nice that it's a very quick game, so if you don't have a lot of time, this is a really go-to easy game that anyone can play.
Right. Number 24 is Rummy Cube. This game is fun. It's pretty easy to learn, and once you play one round, you'll want to play over and over again. And I actually played this last night here in my house with my friend Jennifer. And one funny thing about this game, though, is that there are 2 Joker towels, and they're totally creepy looking. I don't know if you've seen those. The game is played with 2 to 4 players, and each player draws 14 tiles, and the goal of the game is to get rid of all your tiles by making groups or runs. It's kind of like Rummy, like the card game Rummy.
I love the card game Rummy.
And this is my go-to game that I love to play with my friends because there's a lot of conversation that can happen while somebody is playing their tiles, and it makes for a really social game. But don't let that sway you. My kids love this game too, and we love to play as a family. It's incredibly addicting, so I warn you now. So if you get this game, just know that you're not going to want to stop.
You're going to play it for the rest of your life. Number 25 is Trekking the World. Some people are a little intimidated by this game, but don't be. It's so worth it. After playing it for 10 minutes, you will soon figure the game out, and it's so much fun. We've loved the game Ticket to Ride that I just talked about for years, and this is kind of similar, but better. There are many more ways to score points, and the scoring system itself is easier to navigate, and every time we get a different winner, and the game is never played the same twice. The added bonus is that your kids are totally going to learn geography while playing, and I guarantee your entire family is going to love this game.
Yeah, that's a fun one. And all these games offer a mix of educational values, strategic thinking, creativity, and so much fun. Homeschooling can really be incredibly rewarding, but it also can be stressful. And when your family's feeling that disconnect that sometimes comes along with all the things that you have to do, games have a magical power of bringing everyone back together with smiles and laughter.
It sure can. And I hope that you guys have found some new games now to add to your list. And we would love to hear some of your favorites too. We are always looking for some new games.
Yep.
In fact, we have some friends who are adults. Their kids are grown now that get together still for a game night weekly and are always exploring new games. So I love it. And be sure to download the free resource, Year in Review. This is going to help you and your kids reflect on 2023 and look forward to setting some goals in 2024. We're going to be taking some time off here the next couple weeks for the holidays. Tune in next time for our first episode of 2024, Ways to Improve Your Child's Writing.
That's going to be a good one. People have been asking us because sometimes little ones that are just learning how to write are struggling, and sometimes we don't always know how to teach them the best way. And sometimes older students who missed some key components on writing are needing a little bit of help. So we're going to help them.
We're going to totally help them. So enjoy your holiday season, y'all, and we'll catch up with you in the new year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Be sure to check us out on our website at btdthomeschool.com, as in been there, done that, btdthomeschool.com. You can join our mailing list and get news and updates on future podcasts, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at the BTDT Been There, Done That Homeschool Podcast.